Tracking the storm, obviously, and as the storm continues to move north, we're hopscotching our crews north to the well as well.
Some of the strongest impacts of the storm are expected around Tampa Bay. And Wink News reporter Sydney Persing live on St. Pete Beach for us. Sydney, how are the conditions right now?
Lois, I will tell you, it doesn't feel good out here. I want to give everyone a nice look at those waves right now. Calm at the moment, but we've seen those storm surges get pretty high. I want to walk you over this way. We've got some families out here taking a look, taking in those scenes. We'll give you a look at some of the trees swaying in the wind here. If you can believe it, just a couple of minutes ago, we saw a couple of young boys hanging out on these hammocks, enjoying, I guess the word is, the rain and the wind. They wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to see it firsthand. You meet a lot of characters out here. Certainly you're hearing that across Southwest Florida as well. One of the gentlemen who works at the resort over here told us he is in for the night as soon as he gets a bottle of rum. He said he's lived through these storms. He's not scared, but he's on edge. People are taking a look at this. They're starting to feel these effects right now. The rain coming pretty strong and sideways. The wind picking up as well. So as this storm does continue to move north, we will be here all night bringing you updates. Reporting live on St. Pete Beach, Sydney Persing, Wink News now.
All right, Sid.
Is live in St. Pete Beach. So Sydney, how are things there where you are?
Conditions are definitely getting a bit nastier, and I want everyone to take a look at the parking lot I'm standing in. This has gotten a lot worse just over the last hour or so. You know, I know folks like to take a look at the beaches and the waves, but this is causing a real issue for folks out here. We just spoke to the guy in charge of handling this water for the resort. Right over there, you can see it right there. Got a lot of folks out on their balconies earlier taking a look at this flooding at the beach. They are inside now for the most part, and that is good news. Other good news, the folks that were out on the beach earlier, they're all getting inside. This is really starting to pick up. The wind, the rain. You can start to feel it's getting a lot more serious when you see those folks out there enjoying those waves. They know it's time to come in, and that's a good thing. And I just want to take you back this way for a second, too. Look at how long that flooding goes. This entire lot is soaked, and it's been like this for quite some time now, but it's getting worse. We're going to be out here on St. Pete Beach. We're going to go back on the beach in a bit for you guys, give you an idea of those conditions. We'll be here all night, and we'll continue to bring you updates as we learn them. Reporting live on St. Pete Beach, Sydney Persing, Wink News now.
All right, glad we got.
Let's head north now to St. Pete.
Yeah, high winds and flooding. Wink News is the weather authority. That part of Florida is just seeing some of the heavy rain that we got earlier today. Wink News reporter Sydney Persing is live along St. Pete Beach. Sydney.
Lois, it is rainier, it is windier, and the Gulf is louder. I want you to take a look at some of those waves. They've been crashing in. We've been here for a number of hours now, and those waves were pretty much staying at that coastline right where you saw them. Just in the last minute, you can take a look at this water. Those waves started to come all the way up here. That is the first time we've seen that in the last few hours. I want to take you over here. We had a couple of folks stopping by to look at these chairs, a little bit worried. Where would they go with all that wind? You can see they're nice and tied down, so no worry there. Down that way on the beach, up until a couple minutes ago, we saw a couple of people taking in the waves, taking photos. That's over now. You can see it out here. It is really rainy. It is really windy as Eta comes closer. And folks, it was smart. They said, I'm going in. I'm done with the photos. It's not fun out here. You know, it's not fun to stand in this. So we were happy to see those folks go inside. Happy again to see folks move out of the Gulf that were in there earlier. So we're going to continue to stay on St. Pete Beach, monitor these conditions. We'll be coming to you all night with updates. For now, reporting live on St. Pete Beach, Sydney Persing, Wink News now.
To hit. It's expected to make landfall north of there. Earlier today, we saw people out on the beach. Our crews have already felt the wind. They've seen flooding in the area. Wink News reporter Sydney Persing is live on St. Pete Beach. Sydney, what's it like there right now?
Well, Amanda, a couple minutes ago, we told you we were going to move away from the beach because folks were leaving there. We moved here to give you an idea of what folks on the road are seeing. I'm going to have my photographer Eric pan up toward that street light. It'll give you a good idea of what some of the rain and wind we're looking at here. cars are coming down on this street, and lots of them are landing into this nice big puddle that's sort of gathered over the last couple of hours. Right now, you can see the cars on the road are smart. They're avoiding that, but every couple minutes we get one that drives right into that puddle. Conditions pretty similar to what we saw on the beach not too long ago, probably within the last hour. Rain is subsiding a little bit, and probably the wind, we have a bit of a break, but I'll tell you, when those gusts come in, you do need to sturdy yourself because they're still strong. So we're going to continue to stay out here, monitor the conditions, and we'll bring you any updates as we get them. Reporting live on St. Pete Beach, Sydney Persing, Wink News Now.
All right, Sydney, thanks. And back here in South.
Right, well, the greater Tampa area is getting ready for Eta to hit, expected to make landfall north of there. Earlier today, we saw people out on the beach. Our crews have already felt the wind. They've seen flooding in the area. Wink News reporter Sydney Persing is live on St. Pete Beach. Sydney?
Amanda, same story here. Lots of rain, lots of wind. Very happy to see that for the most part, these roadways are pretty empty. Folks are heeding the warning and they're staying home. Part of the reason we came out here, though, is because these street lights will give you a pretty good view of some of this rain and wind. So steady. My God, we've been out here since 1 o'clock this afternoon. I don't think there's been a single moment without rain or wind since then, maybe since 2 o'clock. Perhaps there was a break before then. But for the most part, this area has just been getting pounded over the last few hours. Here's one car, smart move here, avoiding this large puddle we have going on. We've seen a few of the cars drive this way over the last few minutes. A big splash in the area, but like I said, most people heeding the warning, staying home. And again, the rain and the wind is on and off, right? So you have some calmer moments, and right now, moments like this, it comes at you pretty heavy. We're going to continue to stay out here monitoring these conditions, and we will bring you updates as we get them. Reporting live on St. Pete Beach, Sydney Persing, Wink News Now.
All right, thank you, Sydney. Back
The Night Beat Cindy Persing is live in St. Pete Beach tonight, and obviously they're dealing with what we dealt with earlier today. But Sydney, at this hour, what is it like right there?
Well, Russ, I can tell you the moment we opened this sliding glass door to come out here for this live shot, you sort of got the feeling you wanted to say, like, hello, Eta, because you can really feel Eta here on St. Pete Beach right now. I want to give you a look at some of those palm trees really swaying out here in this wind. Earlier today, we were showing you some of these palm trees from the beach. You saw those leaves blown in the wind, but boy, you did not see the entire tree shaking the way you're seeing them right now, just in the last hour or so. Throughout the day, we've seen conditions like this, probably too dark for you all to see right now, but boy, the tide is high. Like I said, rain and wind throughout the day, pretty consistent, has not yet let up. And we saw a lot of folks out here looking for keepsake. For a lot of them, they were visitors. This was their first hurricane or tropical storm. Some wanted photos, some wanted seashells. We met one gentleman who found his own type of keepsake. Have a listen.
I just decided to walk the beach, and the people in the pool said, I hope you find a sand dollar, so I was going to give them this boogie board that was floating in the water that I found down the beach about a half a mile.
And good for that man. We talked to him for a little bit longer after that, and he said, you know, he wanted his ankles to get into the water earlier, but he had no desire to go out further where he saw some of those folks when the wind started to pick up. Smart move on his part, and we are happy to say that over the last few hours, as that tide started to pick up, we really did see most of those folks get out and get to safe ground. So happy to report that. We will be out here for the rest of the night, continuing to monitor these conditions, and we will bring you updates as we get them. For now, I'm live on the Night Beat. Sydney Persing, Wink News Now.
Night Beat Sydney Persing picks up our team coverage from St. Pete Beach. Sydney, what are you seeing there now?
Amanda, I will preface this statement by acknowledging this is one of the first times we've reported today under any real cover. But take a look. This is perhaps the most gentle the wind has been since we have been here since 1 o'clock. It hasn't stopped. It certainly hasn't stopped since we got here those many hours ago. But wow. What a difference in just the last hour. We're starting to see much more of a breeze. And I'll stick my hand out here. Pretty much no rain. That's a first in the last few hours. This is the calmest conditions we've seen. And I'll mention that earlier, you know, we were talking about a lot of folks coming out to get pictures, lots of folks coming out to get seashells. People are in for the night, at least where we are. Even if things do continue to stay calm like this, I think people are wet, they are tired, and they want to go to bed. One more note I will make, though, an observation from our time out here on St. Pete Beach today. You know, whenever we have severe weather or a threat of severe weather, no matter how low or high that threat is, there is something that brings people together because it's something we're all going through. We heard a lot of stories out here today of folks saying, you know, I went shelling, looking for shells with a stranger, or I found this boogie board and I was looking for the kid to give it back to. So those are the kinds of things we're hearing out here right now on St. Pete Beach as these conditions are starting to calm down. Again, folks clearly hoping that continues. We will bring you updates as we continue to monitor the weather conditions out here. For now, I'm live on the Night Beat. Sydney Persing, Wink News Now.
Sydney.
In St. Pete Beach tonight. Sydney, what's it like there?
Chris, we've got the return of a little bit more wind and the return of some people out on the beach. I want you to take a look. You can see a couple little orbs of lights. Those are flashlights, and we got some folks to the right further down the beach doing the same thing as well. We've been watching them from this balcony as best we can, and it seems as though they're looking for shells, they're taking photos, and they're looking at some of the water that's come up much closer to us after some of that high tide that we saw. You can see what looks like perhaps a family walking off the beach right now. They're checking out those waves. You can see them as best as we can get it for you here. High tide, like we said, we've been watching all night, and over the last couple hours we really haven't seen anyone on the beach once those conditions started to pick up. Now that we're feeling, I'll stick my hand out here for you. No rain. Finally, a break in the rain we've seen all day. So now that that's happening, you're starting to see some of the folks out there returning to the beach. It's been kind of nice to see for them. Looks like a couple families just taking some photos, not getting too close to that water. We'll give you a look at the palm trees again here. Got a nice little brush in the wind as we have throughout the day. A little more movement when you take a look at those trees. Those are usually our moniker for looking at how bad the wind is looking. Picking back up again, nothing too serious. Folks around here are very happy to have the bulk of that rain, at least for now, behind them. We're going to be here overnight monitoring conditions. If we see anything of interest, anything important, we will, of course, update you as best we can. For now, I'm live on the Night Beat. Sydney Persing, Wink News Now.